Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you remember at the beginning of the year, I did a video talking about my language learning goals, specifically my Japanese learning goals for the first quarter of the year. And as much as I am terrified to say it, we are pretty much done the first quarter. April 1st is tomorrow, as far as the day that I am making this video. And so I just decided to film myself setting up my Hobonichi weeks for next week, as well as just some A6 pages as well, while I talk to you guys about how quarter one went for my goals and how my goals are shifting for the next couple months. So I'm just going to kind of keep going one by one through what I said I wanted to do in the last video, talking about how it went, and then what the plan is for the next couple months. So I said in my other video that I wanted to do Wanikani and Anki every day, which is probably the easiest goal out of everything I set out for myself. And technically I only half did it. I have pretty much successfully done Wanikani every single day. I love that program and pretty much everything about it. I've gone up 6 levels since the beginning of the year, so probably about a level every 2 weeks or so. As far as Anki goes, though, I started to realize that in the 10,000 most common words, which was the Anki deck I was using, I was getting a lot of similar words in Wanikani as I was in Anki, and I was starting to confuse some kanji pronunciation because I was doing things kind of in a weird order with my Anki flashcards. So I actually made the decision to stop doing Anki altogether and just put my focus into Wanikani, and I am happy that I did that. As a result, now my Wanikani goals, because I'm not doing Anki anymore, I'm going to be adding on something else I would like to do that I'll talk about later. But for Wanikani, I want to be able to average 10 to 12 days for a level. I technically could pump out a level in about 8 days or even a week, but I'm worried that if I focus too much on speed, I won't be able to remember the kanji long term, which is the whole goal. So instead, I'm going to try and average 10 to 12 days, just a little bit lower than the 2 weeks that I've currently been doing. And then I would also like to, with the vocab that's presented after you learn the kanji, for people who don't use Wanikani, the kanji is presented with the onyomi, or the most popular reading sometimes, and then once you learn that, it'll give you the other readings for the kanji, as well as give you some vocab with other kanji you already know, or just vocab that use that kanji in general. So the vocab, now that it's my main source of getting new vocab outside of a textbook, I want to try to make my own example sentences when I get a new vocab. That's a new goal I'm setting for myself. So another thing I challenged myself to do was to view or take in about 2 hours of visual media, and I consume a lot of Japanese media or Japanese writing. I read a lot in Japanese, just on social media and in video games that I play now, but I wanted to consume visual media specifically, and I set a goal for myself that I was going to do 2 hours a week. You can see the little circle that I'm writing in right now on my Hobonichi weeks. I've been filling in that circle every single week as kind of a media tracker for myself. So after looking back at the first couple months, it looks like I've been averaging at about 1 hour of media, so kind of half doing it again. The main things I've been really watching, I've been watching Shirokuma Cafe, or Polar Bear Cafe, as well as Doraemon. Just without subtitles, just kind of watching it and enjoying it because they're, younger, children friendly. I don't have too much trouble with context and things like that. I really do recommend Shirokuma Cafe, even if you're somebody who's not learning Japanese and you just want like a cute, like lighthearted show to watch. That's great, and I recommend it. I did watch some Japanese Twitch as well, just because I like to watch Twitch anyways. And I started a YouTube account and I set my region to Japan so that I would get recommended Japanese videos. And so I've kind of started to find some Japanese YouTubers I like, but I would like to kind of grow that in the future, find more Japanese YouTubers. So if you guys are learning Japanese and there's some cool like beauty vloggers or commentators or let's players that are Japanese or mainly speak Japanese, let me know because I would love to watch them. So now the goal for myself instead for visual media is I'm going to be trying to do an hour and a half a week. So I've split the circle into three different parts, three different like 30-minute sections. And so I'm thinking that giving myself a little bit of an easier goal might make me more likely to put in the time to complete it if I can trick my brain a little bit and then get myself to watch a little bit more media. As far as reading went, the Haikyuu book club was my goal. I wanted to keep up with the Haikyuu book club that Wanikani was doing, and I failed. I completely failed. I have been reading it, just not at the week, like chapter a week, a level that the Haikyuu book club was going at. I'm not sure why. I think I psyched myself out a little bit and ended up feeling like I couldn't do it, even though I totally can. So yeah, that was a complete failure, but I am still going to be keeping a reading goal of one manga chapter a week. So instead of being like, oh, you have to read Haikyuu specifically, I am kind of opening it up to if it's a manga chapter, which usually runs between anywhere between 20 and 50 pages, depending on what manga you're reading. Then I can just kind of read what's interesting to me at the time, although I do want to continue to get through Haikyuu because it is interesting to me, and the writing in it is not too difficult once you learn kind of sports terminology, which was cool for me to learn. So that's my goal for reading. Then with my textbook, I wanted to do a chapter a week. And that proved to be a little bit too difficult just because days that I would have to work a lot, I wouldn't actually want to do anything other than that. I would get home and just be really tired. And I would kind of put pressure on myself to be like, well, you only have until Wednesday to do this chapter. Or like, aren't you going to do it? Aren't you going to keep your goal? So I just kind of stressed myself out a little bit too much. So I'm going to instead move it to one chapter every 2 weeks. I am still making progress with the textbook and I am still kind of on pace, but I do need to definitely kind of kick myself in the pants a little bit some days. So I'm hoping an easier goal will be less stressful and more realistic, something that I can keep up with. So the next two things that I want to talk about that were not in the original video. One of them is test prep. So I am definitely not able to take the JLPT in July. The only place that was planning on having it canceled it, and that's totally fair. I was kind of uncomfortable with going anyways, just because of the current situation. So I'm not going to be taking the test, but I'm still going to prepare for the test because I would like to take my N3 maybe at the end of the year. So I have Shinkansen Master Books for the N4 test, and so I want to start test prep for N4 in May. I want to act like I'm taking the test and still get through the material. And then I also want to do some research for N3. I'm not exactly sure what books I want to buy for N3 and once I'm done Genki 2. So I want to put some time into figuring out what is best for my learning style to continue to work with textbooks. And the last thing is making sentences, because I am learning the hard way that I am very good at consuming Japanese, but I am not very good at making Japanese. So my goal for making sentences is that once a week I'm going to Hobonichi entry, like my journal entry, in complete Japanese, and then I'm going to upload it somewhere like HelloTalk and get feedback on my grammar and anything that I might have written wrong or said incorrectly or in a strange way. I feel like that's a good realistic way to get started in just making more Japanese that isn't just answering test questions, which is mostly what I'm doing now. I'm hoping that that will help me get a lot better as a result of me just doing a lot of reading and listening in the language and not enough speaking. I do think speaking is something that I want to put into play later in the year, but I do think that this is a good start without overwhelming myself and making it so that I get too uncomfortable to even start. I don't know about other people, but if I set too high of a goal for myself and I feel like I can't reach it, sometimes I won't do it at all, and that is very not productive, and I don't want to do that with this. So that's why that's what my goal is. A lot of people, I was really happy on my last video in January, posted and told me about their goals with language learning and Japanese. And so I would really love if people did that again. I feel like I learned some stuff and was able to help some people out and just kind of have a discussion and meet other people who are on a language learning journey. So if you are learning a language, leave a comment and tell me how it's going so far this year. Even if it's going awful, like, you know what? I failed a book club, man. We're all in this together. But that is my goals, and I am going to be uploading a quarter 3 video in a couple months. So hopefully things will go well, and I will be ready to tell you guys what's up in a couple more months. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day, everybody.